Hi, Emily. Thanks for your email. I'm Dr. Aldrich at Indiana State University. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Earth and Environmental Systems, which I assume is how you found my email address. And I do research on how land conflict and deforestation are related in the Brazilian Amazon. So I do have a couple of answers to your questions for your project. Sorry it took me a few days to get back to you, but it's right at the end of the semester, so I had to calculate final grades for my students and things like that. And but I figured I have a day off today. I figured I'd be able to get to your questions. So the first question is that you had to ask is what's the probability of the entire Amazon being cut down? It's pretty low because the entire Amazon's about 2.1 million square miles in size. And if you compare that to the contiguous United States, like the lower 48 states in the District of Columbia, that's 2.9 million square miles. So the Amazon itself is almost as big as the contiguous United States, the lower 48 states. And cutting all that down is probably not going to happen, especially when you consider that a big chunk of it is actually in protected forest reserves. Now, that said, deforestation is pretty intense in the Amazon, and so we might see a large chunk of that disappear. Since 1970, about maybe 20% of the Amazon has been removed. So we've got 80% left, about maybe a little bit less than that. And over time, surely some of that's going to disappear, but the probability that the entire Amazon will be removed is pretty low, actually, and that's good news. You asked how we can stop illegal logging in the Amazon. Well, given that almost all the logging that happens in the Amazon is illegal, we definitely have some challenges. But we, when I say we, I mean everybody who's interested in preserving the Amazon, we do have some tools at our disposal, and we've done a lot of things to stop illegal logging, or at least slow it down. They include things like not buying timber that comes from the Amazon, not buying paper products made from Amazon trees, although that wasn't such a big deal. But the big issue is stopping deforestation by, a couple things. One, punishing people who log illegally, and they do that in Brazil in particular by basically banning the sale of products that come from places with logging. We can also do things like make people more aware of where their timber is coming from. We can encourage sustainable management practices, like when you take a tree, you have to plant 2 trees. And these sorts of things have worked in limited capacities in the Amazon. The other thing that we can do to stop illegal logging is to actually pay people not to cut down trees. And this is a weird idea, but the idea is that folks in more developed places on Earth, richer places on Earth, like the United States or Europe, could actually pay people in Brazil and other Amazon countries like Bolivia, Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, to not cut down trees. In other words, I'll pay you money, don't cut down your trees. If you cut down your trees, I'm not going to pay you money anymore. And these types of things are called ecosystem service payments for ecosystem services, and they have had some limited success in stopping illegal logging. And that kind of relates to your other question, what are people doing to stop logging? Payments for ecosystem services is one. Embargoing or banning the sale of products that come from places where logging is happening, illegally anyway, is another. Other things we can do is encourage people to use resources that come from the forest that don't require the removal of trees, like harvesting Brazil nuts or rubber, which can be done more sustainably. You asked if we were to plant lost trees, how long it would take them to grow back to their original size. The numbers on this vary, but in the Amazon, they say 300 to 600 years for a sapling, little teeny tree to grow up into a huge tree. In the U.S., we say maybe 400 years for, say, our eastern forests to regrow to old growth status. In the Amazon, it may take even longer than 600 years. We just don't know because we've never been able to test it out. But the estimates are 400 to 600 years or so. How would I try to stop illegal logging? I would try to, which is another one of your questions, I'd try economic approaches. So make it economically painful for people to cut down trees illegally. In other words, fine them, use satellite imagery to actually monitor who's cutting down trees, because a big part of this is impunity, which is kind of a big word, but it basically means you break the law and get away with it. And in the Amazon, that happens quite a lot. And so if we can monitor and make up or monitor where illegal logging is happening and actually go and economically fine or hurt economically the people who are doing this illegal logging, that might help. Other things to do would be like slow down or license sawmill operations, monitor them for illegal material moving through the sawmills, etc. But it's a tough problem, and Brazil has been trying to deal with it for 30 years really, and has had limited success. Although recently the success has been quite good. What are other things affecting the health and growth of the Amazon besides logging? Well, we have mining. Mining really does degrade, especially the unofficial mining operations, does degrade the environments of the Amazon. We have the introduction of pest species has had limited issue or caused limited problems as well. What other issues? Infrastructure development, building of roads, of dams, these sorts of things really do affect the forests of the Amazon and the people living there. Overall, my opinion on the issue is that it's still a big concern, that deforestation, loss of forests in the Amazon is a big concern. And it's something that we kind of have to understand a little better. So we understand why people are doing things, but now we need to understand doing things in terms of cutting down forests, but now we need to understand how to encourage them to behave in a more environmentally friendly way. And one of the big tools that we have to do that is actually through economic incentives. So making it so people make the right choice and benefit from it financially. That's kind of my opinion, how we can make this work a little better for the forests of the Amazon. Anyway, those are kind of my brief answers to your questions. I wish you luck in your project, and I hope that you have a great summer once school gets out. Again, my apologies for the informal outfit that I'm wearing, but it's my day off, so I just wanted to answer your questions. Have a good summer and good luck on your project.